Hello, I'm Ben of Board Game Schoolhouse, and this is Gondor Calls for Aid, where you can come to learn to play Lord of the Rings board games better, I hope. Today we're talking about Journeys in Middle-earth's Gandalf.
He is not Sauron. He is the other beast. He is...
I'm good.
Look, I like Rings of Power, but if you don't give me Ian McClellan clips for this video, I'm going to be very upset at you.
I'm sorry, Charles. I couldn't help it.
Alright, I see how it's going to be. Gandalf is a very unique hero. He's the second of only two min-maxed heroes in the game, with his 4s in Spirit and Wisdom and 2s in everything else, and his fear and damage caps are abnormally high at 6 apiece, and then his inspiration limit is all the way up at 5. But it isn't just his hero stats that are super abnormal. His starting skill deck cards are extremely potent when prepared, but they have no successes on them. This means you always need to be thinking of ways to keep Gandalf inspired and to use his unique ability often to keep those skill cards prepared. Whatever build you end up using, Gandalf is going to provide a very unique play experience, and he's going to do best when he is well equipped with inspiration. But that's enough introduction, after all.
Gondor Calls for aid!
And Board Game Schoolhouse
Will answer.
Gandalf is, very appropriately, the original Meddler in Journeys in Middle-earth. This is a super thematic build that is highly effective and a lot of fun to play. Your skill deck in Meddler is going to be Hidden Plans, Quick Temper, Flattery, Ancient Legend, and Interfering. For items, FFG's recommendation is to take 2 melee weapons, which normally I don't really agree with, but for Gandalf it's so thematically on point that I'm gonna make an exception.
You shall not pass!
For the sword, upgrade it to Elf Forged Sword, and then Fate Bender. In the offhand, upgrade the walking stick to Trusted Walking Stick, Quick Nick, and finally Cloud Chaser. The recommended armor path is Cloak to Tuckborough Cloak, and then Splendor Well. This build is solid, but really only suitable for campaigns with a smallish number of players and when you know for sure you're going to spend a lot of time in darkness. If you can check those 2 boxes, then Gandark is a blast to play, as Delver is going to give Gandalf even more access to Scout so he can keep his skill cards prepared. The skill deck priority is Glory, Treasures Untold, Spirit of Adventure, 2 copies of No Stone Unturned, and Wiles. For your weapon, building the short sword to Eredane short sword and then Dancer on the Wind is ideal, but if you don't have access to short sword, then using a regular sword and upgrading it to the versions that attack with Wisdom works too. In the offhand, taking the harp is hugely important in order to make sure Gandalf has plenty of inspiration. Upgrade it to Ferlinden harp, and then the Heart's Rest, then finally Chorus of Light. I greatly prefer Travel Garb to Cloak for Gandalf. Upgrade it to Westmarch Garb, and then Everbloom, and you'll be a very happy wizard. Remember how Gandalf doesn't have any successes on his personal skill cards? This build fixes that by multiclassing all over the place. Now to be fair, you could do this with Guardian and Soldier and end up in any role you wanted, but this build ends in Smith so that the party's equipment can be kept stocked more or less indefinitely due to Gandalf's unique ability. Start the campaign in Guardian and take Ready Defense. Then multiclass into Soldier to grab 2 copies of Sleep Anywhere. Spend the rest of the time in Smith, where you'll prioritize Cirth Inscription, 2 copies of Industrious, Craft of Men, and Strike the Anvil. I still like the short sword best for Gandalf, using the same build suggested in the Gandark build. However, since this build likes to be nearby other heroes, the Horn is a better choice than the Harp. Upgrade the Horn to Sentry's Horn, and then Ringing Glory. For armor, again, we want Travel Garb to Westmarch Garb to Everbloom, but in this build, make use of the Tier 4 armor, Endless Road. Remember that the key to playing Gandalf is to keep preparing his skill cards. That, and keeping him well supplied with inspiration, can make him one of the most unique and powerful heroes to play in the game. And that's how you play Gandalf better. If you have an alternative build that you like, I'd love to read about it in the comments. And if you want to be able to reference these and other builds easily, there's a link for you in the description. If you liked the video, please prove it and subscribe if you're into that sort of thing. I'm Ben of Board Game Schoolhouse, and this has been Gondor Calls for Aid, Gandalf, Remember, the shadow deepens, though hope yet endures.